Way back when I started this tech channel, one of my earliest videos was me talking about 4K and how that's the future.
So if you see something that says 4K display, which is probably now labeled as ultra high def.
Sadly, this wasn't too long ago, but 2 years ago, I was convinced that everything was going to be 4K. I was saving up all the money I had to buy a 4K camera, which I have, and if you can't tell, I'm not shooting in 4K. I actually technically have 4 4K cameras now, because the 2 cameras on my iPhone, and I have 2 DSLRs that are 4K, so that dream happened. But back then, I thought in the future, everyone was gonna switch to 4K, because that was obviously the next step up from 1080p. 4K looks way better, right? You have all those pixels. I'd even picked out the 4K TV I was gonna buy when I had the money. I've shot videos in 4K on the Tailosive main channel for comedy sketches and short films and stuff like that for over 2 years now. And now I've kind of come to this reawakening of it. And it's kind of a depressing thought, but, and I understand a lot of you may disagree, however, I don't think 4K is really the future. I know, that sounds weird, right? It's like, of course, quality's gonna get better over time. 4K is gonna be on everything later. I personally think the TV industry especially has hit a wall, especially when it comes to we need to invent new things that everyone wants to buy. For a long time, it was 3D. In the future, all our TVs will be 3D. You put on the glasses, you can watch all your programs in 3D. That'll be great. Yeah, they did that. In fact, my uncle has a 3D TV. Never uses that. He just kind of forgot about it and they don't care about it. I tried it once. I was like, wow, depth. And then, okay, I'll take these off now. That's weird. Then for a while, it was curved TVs. You can get a better viewing angle when the TV is bent. No one really got too into that. Not a whole lot of people wanted to go out and buy curved TVs. Like, well, the technology's there, but I'll take a flat screen, that's fine. And then I think one of the later ones was 4K, is that the fact that all these TVs have 4 times the amount of pixels as 1080p, so let's all buy those. And by the time I could afford a TV, I really just wanted it to be big. I didn't need it to have all those pixels. Here's the thing, there is no denying that 4K looks better than 1080p. There's no debate there. It is obviously better. The problem is 1080p is still very good for most people. The image quality you get out of 1080p, that's what I'm filming on right now, is still perfectly fine for tons of people. And while yes, most people can say 4K looks better, most of them don't need to pay the extra money if they can get a 1080p regular TV that's just flat out bigger. It's not curved, it's not 3D, it's not 4K, but it's a big TV. And when you walk in a room, that's what you're gonna notice usually. I think it's because a lot of consumers may be in their older years, they're middle-aged and up, their eyes really cannot tell the difference between 4K and 1080. For my parents, I did a side-by-side 4K TV versus 1080p. They couldn't tell you. And that's a very large bulk of the market. It's not just us millennials who can look and notice that kind of thing. Now, of course, I've used my friend's 5K iMac all the time. Extremely high resolution, blasts out 4K, and while it looks good, it really is never really appreciated that much just because there's such a lack of 4K content on the market. Because if you want 4K on Netflix, you have to pay extra for that, and it's like, nah, I can just watch it in 1080, that's fine. You can watch 4K content on Amazon, but it's really just more of a burden on your internet connection. So what I'm saying is 4K is great, no doubt, but 1080p is good enough to the point that no one really wants to move on from it. Most consumers don't. Personally, the reason I shoot these videos at 1080p at 60 frames a second is because most YouTube is not watched on big screens, and you hit a point where 4K is not noticeable when you reach a certain size. A lot of you are watching this on a laptop, tablet, phone, and there it's really hard to notice the difference between 4K and anything inferior to that. So if I just decided one day to shoot all my videos in 4K like a lot of other tech YouTubers do, which by the way, I have the total option for, I can just click a button and this video will be in 4K, the majority of my viewers are not gonna notice a difference. There's not some up in quality because everything is so downscaled or the difference is so minuscule, it's not noticeable. And if I decided to shoot things in 4K, I would fill up my hard drives way faster. 1080 at 60, while it isn't as big as 4K files, is a noticeable change across all devices. You could be watching this on a phone and you'll notice that something's filmed on a higher frame rate. Personally, why I like that is it makes things feel more natural. I'm not trying to go for a cinematic look here. I'm literally just standing here. I'm not trying to convince you this is a movie. This is me just literally talking to you. So why not make that feel more lifelike so it feels like a more natural conversation? And it also helps when first-time viewers come onto the channel. They're like, hey,
That's pretty good.
60 frames a second. I'm not really used to that, but that's kind of cool that it's there. And you notice it right away, no matter how big your display is. Whereas on the main channel where we're filming comedy sketches, that really is kind of a movie. That's not really us trying to talk to you. That's just a performance. Those I do shoot in 4K, so they have that cinematic cinematic look, but honestly, I could easily film them in 1080p and probably have no noticeable change for those viewers. I just like shooting in 4K so that I can crop in on stuff, do little Ken's burns without losing much detail. 4K opens up more options in the editing room, but for everyday consumers, I'm afraid we're gonna be stuck with 1080p. Not really afraid, it's fine. It's just interesting to me that my opinion on 4K used to be, this is the future, everything I buy needs to be 4K.
But looking at it at Best Buy was pretty awesome. You were just like staring into this retina display that was huge, and I loved it.
I don't really want it anymore. You kind of paying a lot for something you forget about once you have it. So yeah, I bought a TV and it wasn't 4K, and it's been great. I just love how big it is. The quality I get out of it is excellent, so no really complaints. So it's been great. Do I need it to have 4 times more pixels? Not really, actually. If I'm gonna pay $500-600 more for that, nah, I'll just pass. 1080 looks great. Yeah, this video is gonna be really funny 20 years from now when everything's 8K. Yeah, I just shot myself in the foot. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.